So The Breadwinner was directed by Eric Appel and it stars Nate Bargatze, Mandy Moore, Camille Nanjiani, Will Forte, Colin Jost, and it's about this guy. He has a wife, he's got three daughters, and he doesn't really do much around the house. He just kind of works all the time while his wife stays at home. But when his wife, played by Mandy Moore, gets this opportunity to do something really big and make a lot of money, she has to go away for a while he has to watch the kids and be a stay-at-home dad. So this is a movie that I was only looking forward to for one reason, and that was Nate Bargatze himself. I've actually grown to actually really enjoy his comedy over the years, and remember watching him on SNL and thinking he was really good, and kind of getting more involved with the stand-up. And I'm like, okay, this guy is actually going places, and I was very excited to hear that he was getting a chance to star in a major movie. That was until I heard what the movie was about. And that premise sounded very dated, and it just sounded very bland and very uninteresting, kind of like a sitcom, kind of like something from the 80s maybe. Obviously, Mr. Mom comes to mind. And so I still wanted to give it a chance because I do like Nate Bargatze and the rest of the supporting cast, as I mentioned. They sound really, really cool too. And so I went and saw this movie, and it is very, very, very generic. This may be the most generic movie I've seen in a while. One that is just so bland. There are no stakes. There is not a whole lot in this movie that works. I mean, I remember watching it and having having a few laughs. They weren't like deep laughs, but at least they're like chuckle-worthy moments. Alright, fine. And no one in this movie is terrible by any means. Everyone in this movie is at least trying. That's really the best I can say about this movie, is that it seems like everyone is trying, and there were a couple laughs. Even the laughs themselves, it's like, they weren't deep and I don't remember what they were, but that says a lot about this movie. Pretty much everything else about this movie is not even the bare minimum. It's just very bland and very unfunny. Like, most of the jokes, you don't either find them funny or you can see them coming from a mile away. Like, there's one joke where he has to talk to his youngest daughter about something that's going on in her class and something that she's doing wrong. And he goes, well, you can't do that. You gotta do something else instead. And she's like, okay, because, this guy isn't very smart. He doesn't know what she's going to do right away. And you can kind of tell what she's going to do because she does something right as he's leaving and he doesn't even pay attention. And they only bring it back at one point in the middle of the movie. It's like, okay, where is this gonna go? Just for that one joke. Alright, fine. The movie kind of throws out a lot of different things as trying to make them stick, but nothing really works. Like, he has other issues with his daughter, like one of his oldest daughters growing up, and she likes this guy, and yeah, it doesn't really go anywhere. His other daughter is very competitive and wants to compete in the spelling bee. Hardly anything is done with that. Everyone else in this movie, from like Will Forte, Colin Jost, Camille Nanjiani, they're trying, but most of their stuff kind of falls flat, and it just feels very beneath them. And it's like, I know all these people are really funny, and it just doesn't work. Also, Mandy Moore in this movie. Oh man, how they treat Mandy Moore's character. I did not like it whatsoever. I did not like how they handled her character at all. Like, her character, she has no real character whatsoever. And it's just very frustrating. It's like, this movie it tries to be a throwback, but maybe it was too much of a throwback. Like, the fact that they don't really treat her character well. There's not even a moment towards the end of the movie where she kind of says, yeah, all this work is really hard, and I need your help every once in a while. And no point in this movie does she ever have one of those moments. It's very annoying. And a lot of it just feels like a sitcom. A lot of the plot points that are in this movie, it feels like they're coming out of a sitcom. Like, he's dealing with things that are going on with his kids. He's dealing with some things at work. He's dealing with some things at home. Even the finale, which involves the mother coming home and they have to get the house ready, that has been done to death so many times. Also, there's like so many missed moments in this movie too. Like, he tries to call his mom to help him raise the kids for the 2 weeks. But instead, he gets his dad. What does his dad do? He sleeps and leaves. That's it. Well, he does appear towards the end of the movie again, but there's really nothing done with his character whatsoever. You could have cut his character entirely from this movie, and you would have missed nothing. Also, what really drove me crazy was that A lot of the things that Nate is supposed to be doing in this movie for his kids and such, and he doesn't really understand how they work and such. There's supposed to be like jokes. It's like, oh, he's trying to do the bare minimum, but it's not really working and such. But like, he doesn't even know how to work a toaster. A toaster. That is easy. He doesn't know how to do laundry. He doesn't know how to make eggs. He doesn't know how to do anything. And it's just found it very frustrating. It's like, it's just not funny. It's not that funny. It is just sad. It is just shocking. And it's just like, there are times where I feel like I'm useless, but like, at least I can do some of the things that this guy can't. So that kind of makes me feel better, at least. So it just didn't work for me. It was a movie. Also, the movie, you know how I mentioned in like, I think it was Yumi and Tuscany, where it's like it had a blooper reel and such. This movie ends with clips from his stand-up, how they kind of inspired some of the jokes in this movie. It's like, okay, that's fine, I guess. But I feel like it would have just been better to watch his stand-up than to watch this movie. It's like, I don't mind if there's like, safe stuff for families, or like, you know, fun movies that don't take themselves too seriously, but you kind of need to know like how to write your characters better. You also need to know how to do funny jokes, and it's annoying to me that pretty much everyone involved in this movie, from Nate Bargatze, Mandy Moore, Camille Nanjiani, Will Forte, Colin Jost, everyone in this movie just kind of dropped the ball, and I just felt like this movie was just as plain as it could be. So, The Breadwinner, even though there are a couple times where I at least chuckled, and no one in this movie is really bad, there's just so many moments in this movie that just drove me mad. Like, the main character's actions, the fact that a lot of the jokes kind of go nowhere, the fact that it just feels like a sitcom, it just plays things way too safely for pretty much anyone. And it's just kind of a bland movie overall. This isn't a movie like Animal Farm, where it's like I was just so mad at that movie that I just had to rip it a new one. This is probably just going to be one of those movies that if I look back in December or January when I make my worst of the year list, and I kind of go back and say, oh, Breadwinner, that was a movie that I think I saw, but I don't remember liking anything about it because it is just so bland as it is. I will give The Breadwinner 1 out of 4 stars. Skip it. So, who is your favorite stand-up comedian? Are they still touring? Are they no longer with us? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.